Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are Kobe University Secondary School.
And we're the affiliated senior high school of National Kaohsiung Normal University.
The title of our presentation is The Virtue of Inclusiveness,
especially when it comes to public society.
Have you ever heard of the flower hydrangea? Do you know what it symbolizes?
Of course, it symbolizes hope. And there's a saying that the people who are blessed with this type of flower are extremely durable and inclusive.
What does this flower have to do with our topic?
Inclusiveness is one of the virtues in human nature. The word inclusiveness seems abstract, but it's actually in our daily life.
Exactly. The reason why we choose this topic is because even though society is working on promoting inclusiveness in the world, but there is still a large room for improvement.
We're going to talk about 3 topics today: cyberbullying, public utilities, and backgrounds. Now, without further ado, let us begin.
She married a rich guy for fame. She had a complicated relationship with multiple guys. She smoked and drank excessively all the time.
Those heartbreaking rumors haunted Cindy Young, a 24-year-old high school student living in Taiwan, and eventually led her to use hydrogen gas to commit suicide.
Even though this kind of tragedy happens often, the number of haters on the internet never decreases.
Data has revealed that in Japan, more than 10,000 students have been cyberbullied every year, and around 300 of them have committed suicide.
Also in Taiwan, nearly 70% of students have either witnessed or experienced cyberbullying.
Despite the fact that the government have done a lot to prevent cyberbullying from happening, the phenomenon of cyberbullying keeps taking place on the internet.
To figure out this problem, we surveyed high school students from different countries. And the reasons for cyberbullying are the following. Firstly, victim doesn't dare to ask for help.
Secondly, bystanders on the internet are indifferent.
Lastly, the lack of inclusiveness, which is similar to our research. By doing this, we found out some solutions toward the problem.
First of all, if you're a victim, don't be afraid to seek for help. Asking for help is never embarrassing.
Secondly, if you are a bully, be aware that those awful words you spread online are going to kill a real person.
Last but not least, show our inclusiveness to others. Next time, before you post a critical comment online, wait for 5 seconds and think whether your comment is harmful or not. With a simple move we make the online world a better place.
So far, we discussed the responsibilities we have with self-internet, and now we are going to talk about how to show inclusiveness in our daily life. Have you ever heard of priority seats? There are seats that stand for specific groups. And now we are going to illustrate the virtue of empathy instead of sympathy through the action of yielding priority seats. So what can we do? We think that it is important not have the feeling of sympathy but feeling of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feeling of another. Let's take a look at a current situation that happened in Taiwan. Have you ever seen someone yell their priority seats before? I believe the answer for most of you is yes. However, do you know that in Taiwan, some passengers will actually force others to yell their priority seats?
All of these news are similar to the situation. However, if we think with empathy instead of sympathy, these would never happen. In the UK and USA, you will likely be thought as disrespectful if you offer seats to others. In contrast, in Germany, if the passenger has the necessity using the priority seat, he or she will tell you straightly. Finally, these examples of yielding priority seats tell us that the actions we should take in different societies vary a lot. However, all of them have one place in common, which is empathy instead of sympathy.
Please put this in mind, and maybe next time, when you see a young man sitting on the priority seat, instead of thinking,
how can he be so selfish?
You will change your mind into, I can't tell, but maybe he is sick. And this is a virtue of inclusiveness that can change the society. We have discussed the virtue of empathy, and now we are going to talk about a current issue that many countries are now facing.
Have you ever seen this kind of scenes Sometimes when we walk into the train station, we can see homeless people sitting on the hallway.
Although we always have the stereotype that vegans cause chaos among their surroundings,
We can only focus on the negative effects vegans might bring but ignore the fact that vegans also have human rights.
give the vagrants the sense of inclusiveness and give them a hand to turn the situation beneficial for society.
In 2003, the amount of vegans had dramatically decreased in Japan. The government started importing religious policies and offering offshore assistance like provide hospices and the job opening. Training vegans is one of the necessary processes to improve their current conditions. By doing that, we can afford them enough college to face the coming challenge.
However, in Taiwan, the amount of vagrants is still increasing. The policies in Japan and Taiwan are practically the same. We also provide them practical help, but what we lack is the encouragement from the majority. Therefore, we need to give them a hand and encourage them. By doing that, we can boost their confidence to step out.
That's what we can see in this picture. There are two guys arguing about the amount of a stick, but both of them are correct. Just like people always stand in their own position to think about the issue. The vegan would hope to improve their livelihood working, but on the other hand, the other citizens wouldn't want to approach them. We need to put ourselves in each other's place and think about the most appropriate solution. Instead of giving alms only, showing the tolerance might be the first and the most important step. In conclusion, developing empathy and incorporating the vegan into society is a good way to make all of us have a sense of inclusiveness.
After the presentation about these three topics, we realized the importance of inclusiveness.
During the process of making this presentation, we learned to accept others' opinions and to embrace the differences between each individual.
The flower hydrangea is just a symbolization of inclusiveness, but it should be planted in everyone's heart.
That's right. Better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. We should stop the criticism and start taking actions. Now, please stop the person next to you and say, even though you are not perfect,
But you are still amazing. Thank you.